What's going on, everybody? Blazing here. Welcome back to another Raid Shadow Legends video. And today we are going to be discussing relics, and more specific, we're discussing the standard epic relics. Now, we only have a couple in the game, and they're definitely confusing, but I had to bring the master in to try to explain to us, or explain to me, the dummy, on how and what to do with all of these relics. And of course, it's Bick. Bick, what's going on, brother? How are you?
Hey, Blazing. Thanks for having me back.
So the last couple of videos we did, people actually loved discussing about the relics. And so they asked for more, right? And so today I want to discuss the standard relics, the epic ones. I mean, those are the ones that most of us keep getting. So I think it's a great segment to dive into and see what we have.
Yeah, some of these relics have been insane game changers, and there's a couple of good relics in the standard group for the epics as well. So definitely worth building them if you have been lucky enough to acquire some of them.
All right, so starting off with the first one is the Gilded Dragonstone. Now this gives us defense, resistance, HP, and whereas defense is increased by 1% for every time they receive damage, stacks up to 10. I want to say I feel like this is pretty simple. It gives us, what is it, a total of 20 defense for the damage that we take. I think it's pretty easy to just say I'm gonna put that on a support champion. Am I right?
Yeah, you can put it on a support champion. You can put it on something like a Harima. Like it's an awesome relic on Harima where you basically just get extra defense, which cannot be ignored thanks to her passive. It's pretty straightforward. Not a lot to say about this one. It's just basically you want defense and you want more of it, and this relic gives you that. Does it feel epic? To me personally, it doesn't really feel much like an epic one. Is it usable? Yes, it's very effective in this.
So this would go for like long-term fights though, right? So this would be for like Hydra or stuff like that. It's not going to be for... I don't foresee myself using this in arena, would you?
So I think there are way better relics out there for arena to begin with. Maybe if you're really stuck on like not having the other good relics, and this is the best one you currently have, then yeah, you could use it because it still gives like 400 defense off the bat without the ability, and gives some resistance. Resistance can be a very important stat on some of those insanely tanky UDKs. Not a fan of it in arena.
Okay, so Hydra and Chimera. So UDK would be a really good example on who to put this on then, right?
Yeah, the sad thing is there's in the same group a relic that is way better on UDK in the same rarity.
Really? So, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Moving on to the demonic effigy. Now this one gives us HP, resistance, and speed. And then whereas turn meter increased by 10% whenever an ally dies, boosts up to 20%. I'm feeling like solo dungeons. But I guess my bigger question for this is going to be it's the turn meter boost is only activated once. So when the wearer's turn meter is increased by 10% whenever one of their ally dies. So I guess if we're using it in arena, yes, it'll go over and over again because it doesn't seem to have a cooldown. But like for dungeon teams, it just feels like it's a, you know, once my food champions are dead, that's all I'm getting out of it, right?
Yeah, that's correct. To me, this is more of a like a Hydra relic or a PvP relic, not as much a dungeon relic personally. I think for dungeon relics, we have better options in general, but for HP, this one is pretty awesome because I always feel like Duchess, for example, is a very, very solid PvP champion, and she can make perfect use of this. There's also like the circular gemstone, which basically you can slot in extra like turn meter effects are like further boosted on the champion, which will also stack with what the relic's ability itself is doing. So I've been running this on my revivers in Arena, and it's been awesome because I basically just get a bunch of turn meter fill when I need it, and yeah, it's just very effective at what it does.
Would I put this over a Journal of Necrotos on like a reviver or support in Arena?
I think it would depend on the champion. Like if you're running something like an Arbiter or Kaja, which main role in the team is usually to speed boost, then I would prefer the Journal of Necrotos. But if we're talking about a champion like Duchess or maybe a Rector Drat, if you're like running Rector Drat as your reviver in early Hydra because she also brings the fail, and Rector Drat is also in the Apprentice pass, I believe, that new accounts get. Then Demonic Effigy is, in my opinion, the way to go because you get the turn meter fill exactly when you need it, which is kind of awesome.
So ideally, we're looking for a reviver that has like a ghost second type of feature to them, right?
Fine.
Okay.
Yeah, basically,
Gotcha.
if your champion's main role in the composition is to revive champions, then this is an awesome relic to have on the champion.
Could I put this on a like a Sulfurion for my Hydra team? Would that work better than like Journal of Necrotos for him?
The Sulfurion have a turn meter increase.
He does have a turn meter boost on the A1, I believe it is. Or the A2, I'm not sure. But I know he does have a turn meter boost on there.
Well, let me put it like this. If you have a Sulfurion for Hydra, you probably have like a pretty strong account because he is like a Chase Void legendary. So you probably would value the extra turn meter fill more because you're trying to maximize your damage output at that point in the game.
Okay.
So Journal of Necrotos would be better in that case. But if you're like one of those young accounts that got really lucky and managed to pull a champion like Sulfurion and you are struggling with your team surviving, then Demonic Effigy would be better.
Okay. All right. Moving on to the last one in the standard group is the Golden Elixir. Now, this one I feel is just kind of everywhere, right? It's got attack, accuracy, and HP. And then where it instantly is healed by 10% whenever their HP drops below 50, books up to, I guess, 20%. I have heard of this. I think it was Ken that said he was fighting Annias with this. But what are we talking here? What are we doing? Because this just seems very weird to me.
Yeah, so this is my favorite epic relic. I want more of these. I love this one. Like at the end of the day, Raid Shadow Legends is a game, and like you're supposed to have fun. And this relic screams hilarity ensues to me because you can do some insanely stupid, broken things with this relic. You can basically make pseudo unkillable champions because this triggers every time the champion drops below 50% HP, and it then heals 10%. So basically, if they cannot deal enough damage, then they cannot kill your champion because the champion will be constantly healing back to above 50%. So the next hit that they get him or her below 50%, it will heal the champion again. So this is absolutely hilarious in solo dungeon teams, for example, where you're struggling to get like good enough regeneration gear on the champion. This can be very, very big in helping you survive. This is hilarious in PvP. You can basically build pseudo unkillable nice like Kenpachi has a nice YouTube short about that where you cannot kill it. I've seen similar things with UDK and Marishkas, where basically they just cannot get through your PvP defense because of this relic. And it's yeah. You can combine this relic with a bolster set, with a regeneration set. It is hilarious what you can do with it.
Okay. So like I said, the only thing that it just seems it's like it's got attack accuracy. I feel like the attack is just, I mean, it makes sense to put on a Nias because he's got both attack and HP. But
Yeah.
I don't know. The stats on it just seem very odd to me. I don't get them.
Yeah, I think this is one of those relics where if they put HP in the first stat, it would give like 6,000 HP or more, a bit more than 6,000, I believe. And I feel like Plarium thought this would be too strong, so they put in like the most useless stat that they could think of to go with this effect, because otherwise it would probably be way too strong.
Okay.
So yeah, attack kind of makes sense from that point, because there needs to be a stat in there. You can't just say, hey, this is the only relic that doesn't have any stats, because resistance would be too good, accuracy would be too good, defense HP is what you want, speed would be way too strong. So yeah, attack is kind of the weakest option they had. So I think that's where it came from. And then yeah, HP in the end, the last slot always gives the least amount of stats. They obviously did want some HP in there because obviously the relic works with HP. I think accuracy could have been resistance. That would have also been fine. Accuracy is obviously also very, very strong. If it would have been resistance, I think it would have been better for PvE content. And now, like, if you put this on a champion that doesn't really want to die, that's like 5-star blessing. Polymorph, whatever, the accuracy is kind of nice.
So I feel like maybe I should put this on a champion like my Wallmaster for soloing like hard mode Spider 10. Would that be a good call?
Yeah, if your Wallmaster is struggling on surviving, then this is an awesome relic. If you don't need the damage, that is.
Okay. So out of the three here, if we had to kind of rank them and say, you know, which one do we sacrifice more as a food and which one do we invest our resources in to level up, what are we talking as like the one that we have to save first?
Definitely the Golden Elixir is on top of my list. Again, it's a game, you want to have fun, you can do some hilariously broken things with this relic. I am very, very afraid of seeing someone having this maxed out and then basically just have a champion that heals 20% every time I drop their HP below 50% and just being like stuck there wasting time. Because even if you're like pushing for Platinum Arena, which I know like not a lot of people do because of the time constraints, etc., you can like, you know, like people tend to like put in defenses that waste a lot of time, so
Right,
you don't get
stall
hit
defense.
that much. Yeah, stall defenses, and I think this one is like right up there. And again, it's useful in both PvP and PvE, so
Okay.
very versatile relic. Yeah.
So which one would we go with second? Are we talking Gilded Dragonstone or Demonic Effigy?
I personally think Demonic Effigy is better. Speed is king, turn meter fill is speed, so it's very simple. The Gilded Dragonstone, it basically just gives you defense. It's just extra defense on top of your probably already high defense based character. It's nice if you need to get like to a certain defense requirement early game or mid game, and in the late game, I think most people basically only be using this relic for the sake of having a relic, and they had this one. Yeah, they didn't have a better relic to put on the champion, and the champion kind of wants defense.
Okay. So if I had to use them, I'm going to use my Gilded Dragonstone as food, and then I'm going to save a couple of copies of Demonic Effigy and definitely save Golden Elixir. Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Definitely helps out a lot more, especially now knowing what champions, like I would have never, I think my Duchess has Journal of Necrotos just for the extra healing that she does on her, what's it called? On her passive. Is it her passive or no? What do I have on my Duchess? Does my Duchess even have anything? That's the question. Does my Duchess?
I better not see a.
No,
I better not see a
okay.
Dragonstone.
Oh, okay. She's got nothing. She's got nothing. So you know what we said? What did we say? Demonic Effigy. Here we go. We're gonna put that in.
Yeah.
And good luck to anybody taking on the team. There we go. All right. Well, Bick, thank you so much again for coming on the channel, man, discussing more of these relics, helping the community out. But before I let you go, I want to talk a shout out. What you got for me?
Well, I'm gonna go and shout out MXPJ. He's part of Knights of Teleria. I think most people already know him. An awesome streamer, very positive, awesome endgame content. He always comes up with like an opinion or a take on things which I don't necessarily agree with, but I do find very, very interesting. Different people, different account states, different opinions, and it's hearing people's opinions also helps to form my own opinions. So definitely check him out because he has some great advice.
Agreed. I think I started referring to him as the voice of reason or the voice of logic because he, you know, when we're all going after all these crazy things, and especially myself that like to rant about things going on in the game, he's kind of like, well, wait a minute, hold on. This is kind of one of the things that you're missing, like the whole damage being nerfed on Hydra. He's like, well, don't forget, you lost 500 turns, so a third of your damage is already gone there. And I was like, oh shit, he's right. So yeah, big shout out to Mixer MXPJE. Join us every Sunday, 2 p.m. EST for the Knights of Teleria podcast, where we dive into the world of Raid Shadow Legends, discussing everything from free-to-play strategies to pay-to-win insight, and covering the journey from early to mid-game. Whether you're a newbie or a seasoned player, we have something for everyone. Don't miss out on the Knights of Teleria podcast, the only podcast for Raid Shadow Legends. As always, guys, much love, much appreciation. Be safe, be well, be good to each other. We'll catch you guys next time.